Are you ready for a vibe shift today? We've got the moon going from Aries into Taurus, so shifting from that fiery, action-oriented, impulsive, risk-taking energy into Taurus, where we slow down, get grounded, feel our way and where we belong and get into our bodies. And then so that's one shift. And then we have a second shift happening today, and that is Mars. The warrior planet is going from where it's been in Scorpio, uh, taking us into that deeper place of feelings and mystery and emotional processes and accessing a deeper truth. And now today it shifts into Sagittarius, where we get a bigger picture perspective. It's kind of like in both cases, taking a deep breath and kind of taking stock of where you are. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Tuesday, November 4th. And we are almost at the Taurus full moon as well. So we're moving into that full moon energy. We're really in the full moon energy, considering it, lasts a couple days before and after the exact full moon. So with that, this illumination energy and the feeling of sort of things intensifying and ramping up and coming to a culmination, we have also this moment of, okay, what has been feeling so intense and pressury is now kind of inviting us to sit down, to take stock, to survey the landscape, right? To really take that pause and get into our bodies, attend to our ordinary physical needs, right? So get yourself some food, some rest, so a cup of tea, whatever that is, and that allows you to have a moment, which is really important. And that's why the zodiac works the way it does. We have this beautiful wholeness that takes us from the intense action oriented energies into the energies of pause and reflection, time to digest, time to think about the bigger picture of meaning. So the shift today of Mars into Sagittarius means that action is going to move from where it's been in this intense emotional process, deeper truth, jockeying for power, struggles for power, really leaning into, especially in the context of our personal relationships, but also, we could see this playing out in the world around us, that sense of where do we need to define ourselves, our own space, our needs, to see our needs as important, and how we need to advocate for ourselves and speak our truth and speak up for what we feel. So now with the Mars energy shifting into Sagittarius, and I did speak about this in my in-depth video on the full moon, Taurus full moon. That video was Sunday's video on how to take back your power. So I highly recommend that if you missed it. But with today is the day that Mars actually goes into Sagittarius. And in fact, I believe it's right around 5 a.m. Pacific. Mars goes into Sagittarius and the moon goes into Taurus at 8:15 a.m. Pacific time. So that gives you a little idea of what we're dealing with. And the schedule, schedule in your feelings, right? So Mars going into Sagittarius means that we continue to have this action, warrior, courage, energy, but now it's moving in a different way. It's not moving under the surface. It's coming to be seen more. It's taking a stand for principles. And so when we do that bigger picture, taking stock and assessing and digesting, sort of, what's going on here? What does it mean? How do we make meaning from it? How do we decide where we stand and what's important? As we do that work, we shift our warrior action energy into more of this vibe of what do we stand for? What are the principles? What matters and why? And finding language for that and telling the story of what that is and what we care about, and finding that place of passion, the Mars passion, but having it play out a little bit more in terms of our beliefs, our philosophies, our operating principles. And so what is that thing that you want to hitch your wagon to, right? The star, the set of beliefs, the thing that you can rally behind, and hopefully find others to rally with you. So thinking about what that is, what is important in your life, what brings meaning, how do you articulate that? How do you find the words, and how do you share, and who do you share with? Who do you need to tell what's important to you? What do you need to say? How can you say that? So this is the process of figuring that out. You don't have to have all the answers, but this is where we get to think about that and go through that process of getting clear about what we believe and what we hope for and what we care about, and rallying behind that. We do have Jupiter in Cancer, and Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. Jupiter is, the planet of expansion and abundance and faith and hope and optimism. So it's in the sign of Cancer, which is about caring. And so, themes of how do we care for one another? How do we expand that? How do we do that in ways that honor our own needs and the needs of everyone around us? And how do we think about that? So, this bigger picture of caring, what it means to care, and how we find our warrior courage to be in action around caring. And then Jupiter on November 11th is going to station retrograde. Some of the outer planets are currently retrograde. Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, Pluto went direct, but Neptune, Uranus, and Saturn are all still retrograde. So, what that means is that some of our work, right? Some of the things we're learning about and the ways that we're growing and healing. Some of that work is happening inwardly. That's with the retrograde planets. And we are needing to sort of figure out our way and learn more about who we are and how to be in alignment with our truth. And then the direct planets, the ones that are not moving retrograde, are telling us it's about being in the world and how you show up in the world, and learning through that outward experience of being alive and interacting with others and doing things and seeing what kind of response you get and those kinds of things. So when Jupiter goes retrograde, to join uh, some of the outer planets that are eventually going to go direct, but we'll try to keep it a little less complicated here. When Jupiter goes retrograde, our beliefs are up for reevaluation. So that's a time when we go back over, what do we believe? Why do we believe that? Do we still believe that? Do we want to change our beliefs? Do we want to change, again, what story we tell, how we articulate that, and how do we think about that in terms of our inner process and how we're learning and growing around that? And those are, that's how we think about things when we talk about unshakable self-care, is we want to really acknowledge what it is we're learning and how we're growing and how we're healing and what self-care looks like at these deeper levels. It's certainly not just taking time on the sofa, right? I mean, that can be great self-care, but there's the wholeness, the balance of all the different ways that we need self-care, and some of them involve being self-centered, and others involve interacting and being in relationships. So we're thinking about all of the ways that we are taking care of ourselves and being uh, true to ourselves and good to ourselves and treating ourselves as though we deserve the nourishment and to have our growth and healing supported. So when you treat yourself that way, it tends to expand from there, and the world around you starts to respond in that way as well. So, full moon in Taurus tomorrow, and the Taurus moon again is a great time today to think about what does your body need? How can you get grounded? Where do you need to slow down and touch something physical, tangible, um, practical, attend to the practical things in your life that are going to support these bigger picture, whether it's an emotional process or what it is you're learning or how you're finding ways to tell your story, supporting that process by attending to the underlying physical needs. That is the message of the Taurus moon. And when the moon is full in Taurus, we get to open to our connection to the wider world through our senses and how we take in beauty and pleasure. And that's a great segue because I have a wonderful guided meditation for the Taurus full moon on how to open your senses to receiving the beauty that exists in the world around you and how that supports your bigger process. So that guided meditation is only $15. I'll put the link in the description for this video. And if, by the way, if you join at the paid level at my member site, $5 a month, you get your first guided meditation for free. So if that appeals to you, go check that out at transformationalastrology.com. Lots more to come. Thanks so much for being here. Again, my member site, transformationalastrology.com. And my main website where you can book a reading is astrologyheals.com. Thanks for being here and subscribing. I will see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.